And it's hard out here always having to prove yourself 2 and 3 times. Recently, they tell me they don't like me to talk about race. Well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. Truth is, it's some challenges that come to being black. And I see so much greatness in this city that has so many great African-American leaders. And I appreciate all of the sacrifice that you all have had to make to be in these positions. So, Chief Meadows, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for having the intelligence to create an event like this where we recognize that you've had to go through a little more to serve.
A few moments later.
At 5, Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is at the Fulton County Courthouse with a new appeal from former President Trump's team in the Georgia indictment. Doug, this appeal came just hours after you heard from Fulton County DA Fani Willis.
Yeah, that's right, Alan. She made a public appearance at an event honoring the women officers of the city of South Fulton Police. But let's talk about that appeal first very quickly. Former President Donald Trump and several of his co-defendants asked the state appellate court to hear their appeal on whether or not Fani Willis should stay on this case. This is, of course, part of that long battle to get her removed from the case that has now gone on for months. And so what will happen now is the court has 45 days to decide if they want to take this case up. They can also, of course, reject the ask from these defendants on taking it up in the first place. But of course, this is all over that perceived conflict of interest and Fani Willis's relationship with her top prosecutor that spanned for over a year during the indictment. The state appeals court, again, still has to make that call. Judge Scott McAfee has noted that while this all plays out, he will continue with proceedings through that time. And as you mentioned, this came just hours after DA Willis addressed police officers in the city of South Fulton.
Can you believe the ignorance of Fani Willis? Can you fathom the audacity of Fani Willis and how she acts as though the law does not apply to her? She acts as if we all forgot about her making late-night booty calls to her apprentice. Well, I didn't forget, and most of America didn't forget either. But unfortunately, it appears that many people in Fulton County, Georgia, don't seem to care. The judge in the case gave her a short, tight leash, but it looks like Fani Willis bit it off and spit it back in his face. Judge McAfee, in his ruling, said there was an odor, a smell surrounding Fani Willis. He called it the odor of mendacity. He called her a liar and put it in writing. So in essence, a sitting judge at a trial said Fani Willis stinks of lies. Check out the definition right here of mendacity. This odor of mendacity means that Fani Willis was lying and the judge thought she was lying. In addition, in his order, Judge McAfee took issue with some comments that Fani Willis made in the speech back in January. And she made that speech at a church in Atlanta. In that speech, Fani claimed that her and her chocolate lover boy Wade were being scrutinized because of their race. And she said that in church. You see, I can say that because in case you haven't noticed, I'm black. And as they've been telling you, black people can't be racist. Anyway, Judge McAfee said this in his order. In these public and televised comments, the district attorney complained that a Fulton County commissioner and so many others questioned her decision to hire Wade. When referring to her detractors throughout the speech, she frequently used the plural they. The state argues the speech was not aimed at any of the defendants in this case. Maybe so, but maybe not. Therein lies the danger of public comment by a prosecuting attorney. The judge found that by Fani Willis using racial references in her speech, that she was dangerously close to compromising the case. But Fani Willis won't shut up. She is openly defying the presiding judge in the Donald Trump trial.
Recently, they tell me they don't like me to talk about race. Well, I'm going to talk about it anyway.
While Fani Willis doesn't strike me as being the sharpest tool in the shed, I don't think she's stupid. So why would Fani Willis be acting in such a manner? I believe that she knows the fix is in. Despite the judge saying that she smells of lies, and despite the judge saying that she's close to compromising the case, he let her stay on. So you have to ask yourself, why is that? Could it be that her real intention is to taint the jury pool? To taint it so badly that it won't matter if she's on the case or not. Remember, the jury, if it gets that far, will be made up of people from Fulton County, Georgia. And when I say the people of Fulton County, Georgia, we're talking about mainly black people. By calling Trump a racist and continuing to call Trump and all the other defendants racist, she's giving these black people a reason to convict. But I can hear you now. Barry, do you have any proof of this? Well, in order to give you some proof, we're going to have to go to church. And we're going to have to go to church in Fulton County. So let's take a look at some of the recent activity in some of the churches in Fulton County, Georgia. Y'all going to love this.
Some sisters getting ready to clean up. That Fani Willis and Judge Tanya Chutkin, they some show enough she-wrote. Them my sisters right there. You hear me? Because neither of them are going to get caught up in the privileged orange perspective of
the privileged orange perspective. I don't think that's in the Bible. I'm pretty sure he's at the pulpit and he's not talking about anything having to do with the Bible. He's not talking about anything having to do with Jesus. Instead, he's talking about the orange perspective. Let's continue with the good reverend.
Tyrant criminal, and you can stop, you can stay, you can delay all you want. Them sisters said this stuff gonna get cleaned up today.
Oh, she says it's gonna get cleaned up today. How is it gonna get cleaned up if there hasn't even been a conclusion at the trial? What exactly are you basically spewing to the people? I mean, they love the message. This is the kind of sermon I guess they love to receive in Fulton County, Georgia. When they go to church on Sunday morning, they get to talk about, the orange perspective and what they're gonna do to make sure that the orange perspective is not moving forward in Fulton County, Georgia. Let's listen to more to some of the good reverend.
And if anybody can clean it up, you know it's gonna be some sisters. There's some stuff that needs to get cleaned up.
All right, so I guess you have to be a sister to basically prosecute cases against the orange perspective. That's what's going to get cleaned out. People cheer, everybody say amen. Because that's the message, that's the sermon they want you to hear in churches in Fulton County, Georgia. It's insane. This is what they're saying in churches. I guess that whole separation of church and state doesn't make any sense in Fulton County, Georgia. But let's continue. Here's another.
We saw a group of white attorneys trying to publicly lynch district.
Whoa, trying to publicly lynch. Listen to the words. And this is being said at a pulpit. She is absolutely lying to her flock of whoever, whatever is in the audience. These parishioners are being lied to. They didn't try to lynch anybody.
Attorney Fani Willis in all her black womanness on national TV.
Well, it ain't about Fani. The lynching wasn't just about the person that was hanging from the lynching tree.
Oh, so she was hanging from a lynching tree. That's what was going on. Do you people understand here? Do you guys understand here in the audience what you're up against? Some of you may get picked to be on this jury. Some of you may know somebody who gets picked to be on this jury. And you have to understand, all the evidence be damned. We're just talking about the lynching of this black woman. You must convict this orange white man because of the lynching that they had perpetrated on Fani Willis, a black woman. The white man against the black woman. That's the trial that they want you to have. Bet you didn't see this before. Bet you don't see this on CNN. Bet you don't see this on ABC or MSNBC. They are convicting him of lynching Fani Willis. This is what's going on in Fulton, Georgia. There's no accident. She is intentionally taking this message to the street and telling people, I'm going to keep talking about race. There ain't nothing you can do about it. What you gonna do? Because it doesn't matter if she's on the case or not. What matters is that the jury pool understands that this black woman was lynched and that this white man, this orange white man, must be convicted of lynching a black woman. But that's not what the case is about, Barry. They don't care. Do you understand that? They don't care what the case is about. They are going to convict and hang Donald Trump for lynching a black woman. None of these people have mentioned anything about the actual case. Because, oh, Barry, they can't talk about the case because then that would, basically cause the problem between separation of state and church and state. But they can talk about what they're going to do for the man who is lynching the black woman. Talk about that. Let's continue.
It was a message to let us know that there go you if you don't stay in your place.
I think we have a new black history figure that will go down in the history books. Her name happens to be Fani Willis. That woman has a backbone. She said, I came running down here. At some point, you just can't let lies continue to be said about you. Amen.
Well, you can't continue to have lies said about you. Who said she's saying lies? The judge said she's saying lies. He said she stinks. She has an odor of mendacity. The judge said she's a liar. But you're saying that doesn't matter. No, people, you have to understand, this ain't about that. You know what it's about.
Man, it's important for us to have pride.
Long before there was a Fani Willis, there was a man in the Bible who said what he said. And
okay, so now finally we have a man of the cloth who's going to talk about things from a biblical perspective. And you won't believe where he goes with this.
stood by what he said. And if you go to John chapter 9, we find that there was a man born blind. Now understand, before you read chapter 9, if you go back and read chapter 8, you find that the Pharisees were very angry with Jesus. They were trying to set Jesus up, just like Trump's attorneys were trying to set up Fani Willis and trying to...
He just compared Fani Willis to Jesus. I hope there aren't a whole lot of people in that church so that when the lightning bolt hits, they don't all get vaporized. This pastor, this man of the cloth, just stood up there in front of his parishioners, in front of the community, and compared Fani Willis to Jesus. What would you have done if you were back when Jesus was crucified? You would have probably tried to fight it. You would probably try to get rid of everybody, convict them all who crucified Jesus. So this man is saying, hey, listen, this Donald Trump guy, he's trying to hurt Jesus. And Jesus, since you don't know, and you don't know your scripture, is Fani Willis. That's what he's saying. Let's continue.
make Jesus say something that would get him in trouble.
That's blasphemous. That is absolutely blasphemous. I can't even fathom that would come out the mouth of a pastor. But do you see what's going on in Fulton County, Georgia? They're not talking about the case. They're talking about the offense against the black woman. You know, the black woman that's being lynched. The black Jesus, the black female Jesus, Fani Willis. That's who they're talking about. You guys need to convict this guy. You need to convict Donald Trump. Put his ass in the jail because of the crimes he has committed against the black female Jesus. That's what he just said. Not my words. He just compared her to Jesus. Now listen to this guy.
Ooh. She killing it, ain't she? They can't do nothing. Fani Willis, they were talking about she was using a man. I don't need no man to take care of me. That woman, they can't do nothing with her. I love my black women. I ain't gonna even lie. Yeah, I don't care what they say.
I don't care what they say. Nothing to do with the case. You just heard a number of churches out there telling you, support this black woman, and I don't care what they say. That's what they're telling everybody. Don't care what they say in the news. Don't care what they say in the court. Don't care what they show you on television. Doesn't matter. Donald Trump is trying to lynch the female black Jesus, and you must do your part. You must convict him. Have you ever seen such a racist spectacle disguised as sermons? These people are nothing but blasphemous charlatans. The God I know has a special place waiting for these people, and I don't think they're ever going to see the pearly gates. But y'all need to brace yourself. Seriously, brace yourself. Donald Trump will be convicted. If the appellate court allows this comedy of errors to continue, Donald Trump will be convicted. And the worst part about all of this is they all know it. They're laughing in our faces. The fix is most assuredly in, either with or without Fani Willis. At this point, it doesn't matter. If this case takes place in Fulton County, Georgia, Donald Trump will be convicted. But unfortunately for them, I'm still behind Donald Trump. And I'm pretty sure tens of millions of people are still behind Donald Trump. I don't care if he's doing executive orders from a jail cell in Fulton County or not. This stuff is insane. Please feel free to share this video with your friends and family and coworkers because they need to know what's happening in Fulton County, Georgia. As I said earlier, the news is not going to show you this stuff. They are intentionally using churches to gaslight the people of Fulton County, Georgia. It's obvious to me at this point that the plantations in Fulton County, Georgia have razor wire surrounding them. They don't want free-thinking black people, and they are doing anything they can to keep the ignorant in place in Fulton County. And if you're watching this video and you're black, all I can ask you is don't be a plantation dweller. Let me know what you think about what they're doing in Fulton County, Georgia. Me personally, I think it's blasphemous. I think it's insulting. These people are going to railroad Donald Trump. They are going to convict him. And if the word doesn't get out, if people don't start making some noise about this crap, we're in trouble. Let me know what you think. Talk to you soon. I can't take this shit anymore.